Hello everyone, our hero today was depicted on more than 400 magazine covers, became the fitness model of the year 7 times. This is what we are talking about Mike O'Hearn, and he is already 55 years old, although he looks like a burgeoning 30-year-old athlete. Today we will find out his secrets for eternal youth. O'Hearn was born in Kirkland, Washington, on January 26, 1969. Mike suffered from dyslexia as a child. This complexity tempered the character of the future fitness star and gave rise to analytical thinking in him. He also played football in high school. Having started bodybuilding at the age of 14, he won the Washington State team competitions and has since started bodybuilding professionally. By the time he was a teenager, he already looked better than most adults, with a dry, bulky shape at 8 cubes. With a height of 175 centimeters, he already weighed 80 kilograms, having a low fat layer, which says a lot about the genetics of an athlete. He grew up in a large family of 9 people, 5 boys and 4 girls. An example and the main inspiration for all the children was the father, who was both a football player and a bodybuilder. Of all the children, Mike was the youngest, and his brothers and sisters always pestered him. His entire family were either bodybuilders or powerlifters, including his sisters. The family was also obliged to practice martial arts. So, being the youngest, Mike aspired to physical fitness and height in order to stand out among his family. Progress continued as O'Hearn grew, not only in size and power, but also in popularity and fame. He is a 4-time Mr. Universe, 4-time California champion in powerlifting, strongman, and California judo champion. Mike didn't perform on stage as much as you can imagine. Perhaps this is due to his understanding that competitive bodybuilding has nothing to do with longevity and health. After all, if you look at his youth and genetics, he would have given many a head start on stage. Mike's workouts look quite voluminous and heavy, but it's worth mentioning that he has been doing this for many decades without any breaks, and, accordingly, he can afford such volumes. If you give his program from scratch to some beginner or amateur, he will most likely break down or get overtrained. First, nutrition, then recovery, then training. If someone tells you something else, they're trying to sell you something. The athlete's diet is also very unusual. He eats 8 meals a day. For the first 4 meals, he eats 30 grams of protein each and 50 grams of carbohydrates with a small amount of fat. Then, for the remaining 4 meals, he will remove carbohydrates and add vegetables. I quote, "My diet works great for me, but it might not work for someone else. I recommend trying different schemes, and you will find what works for you." Mike takes a very responsible approach to publishing his training and nutrition schemes, each time adding that it is suitable for him, and not the fact that it is suitable for others and may even harm. But the athlete says that it is important to change the diet, since eating strictly the same thing all year round is not good. Although he loves vanilla ice cream and Nutella, he really allows himself to cheat. As for supplements, he uses BCAA, glutamine, 5-HTP, calcium, magnesium, sodium chloride, also zinc, fish oil, vitamin C, B vitamins, and also genome multivitamins. His height is 191 centimeters. His competitive weight is 113, and his weight in the off-season is 125 kilograms. The best strength results were recorded at official competitions. In 1989, he sat down with a weight of 305 kilograms. In 1995, he shook 205 and pulled 320 in 1993. In the same year, he was able to collect the sum of 820 kilograms based on the results of all 3 movements. If Mike had purposefully devoted himself to powerlifting, the results would definitely have been much higher. Over the past 11 years, he has posted many photos and captions to them, and the most interesting thing I will now quote to you. At the age of 14, my weight was 80 kilograms of dry weight. I defeated 20 competitors who were already under 19 years old. I won the Teenage Mr. Washington. And yes, at the age of 14, I was already engaged in martial arts and powerlifting. I squatted at 155 kilograms, pressed 125, and pulled 172. I'm really lucky that I was able to train with the best in the world at such a young age. But I also understood that all these opportunities are the ones that I need to make the most of. And it made my mind function differently from children my age. And it was the best experience I had to become a champion in life. Of course, like many others, Mike is a fan of sometimes using shadows, painting his abs and more. However, in third-party photos, it often looks completely different, although it is large and stable in terms of weight on average. However, velocity, filling, and fat percentage periodically jump. This may indicate that he uses shock courses in periods, and in between is on the so-called steroid bridges, which involve a minimal amount of drugs. For an ordinary athlete, about 250 milligrams of testosterone is enough for such purposes for a week. Many people have such a common topic when they are constantly on testosterone, and their course is when they simply add various drugs to it, and the base is always in the amount of 250 milligrams or a little more per week. This should not be confused with hormone replacement therapy. Since HRT involves maintaining any level of hormone changes precisely within the norm, therefore, it is impossible to say that even taking into account HRT, he is straight. I still tend to think that he uses PCT or post-cycle therapy. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so healthy and long-lived. The second version was already mentioned earlier. He uses bridges. Indeed, he puts out what he looks like at the current time. For many, it is just an indicator of the naturalness of an athlete when he is in the same shape all year round. Although he lies about naturalness, it seems that lying is only for the good. So that people do not harm themselves and do not steam themselves with grams of any chemistry, and his shape is such that, in any case, almost all of us would like to look like this at his age. What can I say? Even in my 20s, or even in my 30s, or even in my 10 years old, plus, it's worth pointing out that many fitness influencers like to take a bunch of photos as part of any photo shoots. Hundreds or maybe even more of them. And while they are resting, restoring the body, their shape is like this. And all this time, they are gradually uploading these photos. Accordingly, when we watch them on social networks, it seems to us that they are in top shape all year round if everything is done correctly, of course. In combination with genetics, Mike is in great demand in the cinema and has an extensive list of films and TV series in which he took both main and episodic roles. 2008 brought maximum fame when he got the role of Titan in the relaunch of American Gladiators. After that, he traveled almost all over the world, conducting trainings, seminars and master classes as part of his program, the Titan Tour. He founded Frog Fitness and is considered the inventor of power bodybuilding, a mixture of powerlifting and classic bodybuilding. And of course, he has his own fitness app that charges $10 per month for a subscription. The application will reveal the secrets of training that you will not find anywhere else. There is no information about any serious illnesses or injuries suffered. And this suggests that Mike is probably really doing well, but if you take into account his biography in general and the style of communication and interviews, it feels like he is a very private person because there are a lot of gaps in his biography. This may suggest that he may have some serious health problems or experienced injuries. But he does not take it out into the public domain and solves these problems in a more behind-the-scenes environment, unlike other athletes who like to cry, say what injuries they have there, and so on, and hype on this. Many people put pressure on Mike in the sense that he was selling various fitness tricks, a device called a purse wheel. It sells for $1,000, and many consider this to be misleading, on the verge of fraud. Well, how can I not remember when he was called Mike Autran on social networks with a reference to a well-known drug, because he still calls himself natural. Mike also passed doping tests during the competition, but this does not mean that he did not bypass these tests. He's smart enough to use the drugs without being detected. We may never know the truth about Mike's use of all steroids. Nevertheless, we can all agree that he is endowed with such genetics, which is 1 in 1,000. We can speculate on what he's probably using. We take all the data from open sources. Regarding the denial of the use of chemistry, Jay Cutler commented on the athlete's position as follows. If he decided not to talk about it, I respect it. Bodybuilding legend Jay Cutler talks about the closed nature of steroid use when Mike rose to become a bodybuilding superstar. And his excessive openness can only harm fans who constantly copy everything in pursuit of their idols. There's nothing to add. Thanks for watching. Like if you liked the review. Check your channel subscription so that you don't miss new videos. Well, Sports Guru was with you until we meet again.